The Israeli newspaper Haaretz reporting of a shadowy firm run by an Israeli Estonian has gotten hundreds of Palestinians out of Gaza. The newspaper says that the organization offers Palestinians the option to pay about $2,000 for a spot on charter flights to destinations like Indonesia and South Africa. The organization's website claims it was founded in Germany, offices in East Jerusalem, though the newspaper, it's found it's registered in neither place. The newspaper then also reporting that it's learned that Israel's Voluntary Immigration Bureau in the Defense Ministry referred the firm to the IDF to help coordinate the departures. This adds credence to the South African government's stance that about 130 Palestinians were transported to South Africa illegally, though the South African government announced it would process them. Speaking now to Dr. Guy Shalev, Executive Director for Physicians for Human Rights on this issue and others, including their report that at least 98 Palestinians have died in Israeli prisons and detention centers in the past 2 years. That's an average of about 4 deaths per month. It's the highest number ever recorded, according to Physicians for Human Rights. Dr. Guy Shalev, really appreciate your time. Let's start on the transfer of Palestinians to other countries. How is this being reported in Israel? I mentioned the Haaretz news report. Does this mean that there is an active attempt to depopulate Gaza? Is that what certain newspapers are reporting in Israel?
This goes, that follows this discussion about depopulation of Gaza for maybe decades, right? But we've heard that during the genocide in particular, and the ethnic cleansing of several specific areas in the Gaza Strip, and then the deportation of Palestinians. It's all very shadowy, not clear. We're not getting the information. As you see now, exposés are revealing what's behind these processes. But what's behind them in practice is the idea that Gaza should be depopulated. Gazans, Palestinians can be transferred to other places without even knowing where they're going, without due process, without asking people for what they will and where they want to live. And the most important thing is allowing Palestinians to live in Palestine, in Gaza, with dignity, with freedom. This is something that is not considered and is not on the table with the Trump plan or with other bodies trying to manage Gaza.
Your latest report is around the deaths in detentions. 98 Palestinians have died in Israeli prisons and military detention centers over the last 2 years. Give us some details of what you know has been happening in these detention centers.
First, I would say what we don't know. So we know of 98 people that we could verify their identity, most of them. Some of them we don't have their names, but we know where they died, in which facility, and what date. But we can't get their names, 18 of them. But what we know is that probably there are many more, because there are several hundreds of Palestinians that were detained by Israel, and we still don't know their whereabouts. And that's part of the problem. The fact that so many people have died in detention is related to the lack of information, and basically the enforced disappearing of Palestinians from Gaza. So people were upheld, detained, the families were not notified. We could not, as human rights organizations, get to visit them with lawyers. We could not get the names and get the proper investigation into their death. So what we see is definitely a number that is totally unprecedented. In the 10 years between 2013 and 2023, 30 people died in Israeli incarceration facilities, and then we have almost 100 in 2 years. As you said, 4 people a month in average. And also, it's not just the average. You can see, for example, people dying in the Israeli prison service, the civilian institution holding Palestinians, because many Palestinians died under the military custody. But in the civilian system, you see consistent death cases throughout these 2 years. So it's a policy that we could not stop in real time while we were petitioning the High Court. We were trying to stop these atrocities from keep happening.
Do these deaths
Yeah.
in custody result in autopsies, investigations, inquests? How do we know the cause of these at least 4 deaths per month that we know of?
So that's part of the thing. Most of these deaths are covered up. A lot of these deaths were not even investigated properly. I can say that 35 people died in the custody of the military in the first 6 months of the war, and none of them were transferred to the Forensic Institute. So we know that there were not autopsies made. So we will not be able to verify the cause of death for sure ever. 10 autopsies that we know of, and we have preliminary results of the autopsies show that half of them show signs of violence and half of them show signs of medical neglect. So we understand that this is probably the causes of death: violence, direct violence, and torture by Israeli prison guards and soldiers, and the medical neglect of people with chronic diseases, with injuries, that Israel is responsible for, of course.
Um, Over 4,000 Israelis have signed a petition demanding the closure of these military detention centers. They've called them homegrown torture camps. What does the petition signed by thousands of Israelis suggest maybe about the divisions within Israeli society regarding the treatment of Palestinian detainees?
Right. So there is a group of Israelis who definitely are against the torture of Palestinians, the detention of the illegal, unlawful detention of Palestinians. I might say that we are a very small minority within Israeli society. The vast majority of the Israeli society was totally indifferent in part and supportive in part of this attack on Palestinians in detention. Just the most publicized case of the sexual assault of a detainee in the notorious Sde Teiman facility. We've seen members of the parliament and we've seen very important politicians and public figures supporting the attackers, the aggressors, and attacking the military attorney general trying to investigate that case. So it is definitely something that is under debate, but unfortunately, we can't get the political power to support and protect these people.
Dr. Guy Shalev, Executive Director for Physicians for Human Rights in Israel, speaking to us on the line. Thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for your time.